The sun was warm on my skin, and the breeze carried just enough salt to remind me why this place felt like home. Ethan was laughing, digging furiously in the sand beside me, and for a moment, I felt something close to peace. Jake had encouraged this day out, said I needed a break. "You've been pushing yourself too hard," he told me last night, brushing the hair from my eyes like he used to when we first met. I smiled then, grateful. It had been a long few months. Ethan stood up suddenly and held out a broken shell like it was treasure. "Look what I found, Mommy." I took it with exaggerated awe, and he beamed, dropping back down to dig another hole. I watched him, his innocent face, his small hands, and something swelled in my chest. This was the life I wanted, simple, quiet, full of love. Jake and I had worked hard for it. We weren't perfect, but we had weathered storms. "Do you think Daddy will like this shell?" Ethan asked. "I'm sure he will," I replied, brushing sand off his shoulders. "You can give it to him tonight." He paused, then said it, so casually, so effortlessly. "Mommy, why did Daddy kiss Auntie Melissa when you weren't home?" I stared at him. My brain caught the words but refused to believe them. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" He didn't look up. He thought I was sleeping. But I saw. They were in the kitchen. It was fast. Then she left. I froze. The world didn't stop spinning, but everything inside me did. I looked at Ethan, who was already back to digging, unaffected, already lost in a world of sandcastles and sunlight. I opened my mouth but said nothing. My tongue felt heavy, my stomach turned cold. I wanted to ask more, press him, but he was just a child. What had he seen? Could he have misunderstood? I smiled weakly and nodded, heart pounding, swallowing the wave rising in my throat. I looked out at the water, eyes fixed on the horizon. My fingers tightened around the shell. It cut into my palm slightly, but I didn't let go. I didn't want to believe it. Not Jake. Not Melissa. But something had just cracked open inside me. And it wouldn't be easy to close. That night, I watched Jake more closely. He came home late, kissed me on the cheek, and said traffic was a nightmare. He barely glanced at Ethan's shell before heading to the shower. I followed him with my eyes, quiet. Something about the way he avoided looking at me scratched at my insides. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. Ethan was a child. Maybe he imagined it. Maybe it was innocent. But the seed was planted. At dinner, Jake scrolled through his phone, chuckling at something on the screen. I asked who it was. "Just a work group chat," he said. No eye contact. I nodded. My appetite was gone. I asked about Melissa. Hadn't seen her in weeks. He shrugged. "Busy, I guess. She said she's been swamped." I remembered the last time I spoke to her. She'd called randomly, asking about a recipe. We'd chatted, laughed even, but something in her voice felt careful. It didn't register then. Now, it clawed its way back. I remembered the pause when I asked if she'd come to Ethan's birthday. "I'll try," she said too quickly. Jake left his phone on the couch when he went to get wine. I looked. Nothing obvious, just a lot of locked messages, a hidden folder I hadn't noticed before. He'd never had that before. My fingers trembled. I didn't open anything. I couldn't. Not yet. The next day, I mentioned Ethan's beach comment casually. Jake froze. "What comment?" I shrugged. "He said something weird about you and Melissa. Probably nonsense." He laughed. "Too loud. Kids make stuff up all the time." Then he changed the subject so fast it was almost insulting. I watched him talk, watched the way he avoided my eyes. It wasn't just the kiss Ethan mentioned. It was everything. Late nights. Excuses. Locked phones. The missing closeness. The silence. I tried to deny it, but my body already knew. My chest was tight, my hands cold. At bedtime, I kissed Ethan and lingered at his door. I wanted to ask more, but he was already dreaming. I envied his peace. When I lay next to Jake that night, I didn't touch him. I stared at the ceiling, hearing the echo of Ethan's voice. He didn't lie. He didn't know how. Something was happening. And I was done pretending not to feel it. I called Melissa the next morning. She picked up after the second ring, cheerful, as if nothing had shifted. I asked if she wanted to catch up, maybe grab coffee. She hesitated. "Today's rough," she said. "Maybe next week." I didn't press. "Sure. No problem." But the tightness in her voice told me enough. That evening, Jake said he had a meeting. I smiled and nodded. He kissed Ethan goodnight and left in a rush. I waited 10 minutes, grabbed my keys, and drove. Melissa's building wasn't far. I'd been there too many times before. Her car was in its usual spot, and parked right beside it, Jake's. My chest burned. I didn't move. I just stared at it. I should have felt rage, but what I felt was worse. I felt small, humiliated, stupid. I stayed in the car, fingers clenching the steering wheel until my knuckles ached. My mind spun. Every shared secret with Melissa, every night I trusted Jake, every moment I defended them to myself. All of it shattered. 20 minutes later, the door opened. Jake stepped out first. Melissa followed. He turned to her, said something that made her laugh, then touched her arm like it was second nature. She kissed his cheek. He looked up. Saw me. For a moment, we just stared. No gestures. No denial. Just his face, drained of color, frozen. I started the engine. Drove off. I didn't cry. I couldn't. He called. I didn't answer. He texted, "It's not what it looks like." I laughed bitterly, because it was exactly that. I'd seen it with my own eyes. Later that night, he came home. I was in the kitchen. He didn't speak at first. Just stood there like a child waiting for punishment. "It was a mistake," he finally said. "It only happened a few times." I said nothing. She was going through a rough time. I was too. It just happened. I looked at him, not with anger but clarity. "You didn't just cheat on me. You cheated with my best friend. You used our trust like it meant nothing." He tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "I don't hate you," I said. "I just don't know who you are anymore." And that was worse than hate. I packed 2 bags and left the next morning. Ethan thought we were going on a trip. I let him believe that. I stayed at my sister's place across town, where the silence felt unfamiliar but safe. Jake called twice. I didn't answer. The third time, he left a voicemail. He sounded broken. I deleted it halfway through. Melissa messaged once. Just a line, "I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you." I stared at it for a long time. Then I blocked her. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't ask why. I already knew. People do what they want when they think no one's watching. And sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones who cut the deepest. Ethan adjusted quickly. Kids do. He played with his cousins, asked when we were going home. I told him soon. Not now. He didn't push. I started therapy 2 weeks later. Not because I was falling apart, but because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't. I talked about the betrayal, the silence, the way I'd stopped recognizing myself in the mirror. The therapist asked what I wanted. I said, peace. I went to the beach with Ethan again. He ran ahead, laughing like always. I sat on the same spot where it all began, watching the waves erase every mark he made in the sand. It felt symbolic. Life moving forward. Memories being washed away, whether you're ready or not. Jake sent a letter. Handwritten. Pages of apologies, regrets, promises to be better. I didn't read all of it. I didn't need to. Words are easy. Choices are loud. I didn't reply. Some nights, the anger returned. Briefly. Then it left, quieter each time. I learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. I stopped explaining myself. I started journaling again. I listened when Ethan talked, even when it was nonsense, because he was still pure. Still mine. The pain didn't vanish. But it stopped owning me. One morning, Ethan took my hand and said, "You look happy today." I smiled. I think I am. Because in the end, I didn't need revenge. I didn't need closure. I needed to remember who I was before the lies, and become someone even stronger after them. And I did.